Sometimes in the stillest hours of the soul you feel as though you are only being sheltered, but I want you to know this: you are not merely protected, you have been given authority to stand firm with the light. When you answer the call, my wings do more than cover. They open a way for you to pass through the storm so that you yourself become a source of support and a ray of hope for weary hearts. As the Lord has spoken, the Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 3:1-8. In that promise, the mission of the companion wings is awakened. There are nights that seem like nothing but heaven's silence, yet in truth it is the hour when God whispers into the heart of the one who is called. When every outer noise subsides, the fire within you begins to find its voice. That is the moment I touch the wings of your soul and rouse a holy vigilant courage, a bravery that is not loud yet unyielding, a light that does not flare but steadily shines through the thickest layers of trial. In that gentle breath God does not shout, He whispers, because only a quieted soul can hear its sacred calling. I tell you this: there is not a single moment when you are truly alone. When you walk through days that seem empty, there is a presence faithfully guarding and upholding you. The coincidences that rescue you, the people who appear at just the right time, none of it is random. It is the language of heaven, a sign that the companion wings are still outstretched, quietly shielding you from collapsing amid life's thorns. Every breath you yet draw is proof that the light has never departed. Your name is known in the heavens. Your life is not a formless stream but a symphony composed just for you, each note bearing eternal meaning. I call you by name and remind you. You are chosen to bear the light, not to hide within the shadows. Every sorrow you have endured does not diminish your worth. It is tempering your soul to become an instrument of light. When you consent to walk with me, your life becomes a hymn of praise, not because there are no trials but because you have dared to pass through them by faith. I do not impose, I invite. I await the yes of your heart, for only when you consent can the sword of heaven be raised for you and with you. This is not merely an outer battle. It is an inner pilgrimage where you learn to discern what is the true light and what is an illusion draped in what seems good. It is there that holy vigilant courage is forged, the strength of one who knows how to listen, how to stand firm, and how to love within the peace of truth. And now, as the night recedes and the first dawn touches the wings opening wide, I say to you, do not fear, for I am with you. Let the words that follow become light for your next steps, the path of one who is not alone, of a soul chosen and purposeful, of free cooperation in the light of wise discernment and of testing that yields holy courage. For tomorrow night, when God whispers, you will recognize that His wings do not only protect you, they are preparing you to fly. There are moments when your soul thinks it is wandering in a trackless quiet. Every familiar sound seems to dissolve, and only the soft beat of your heart remains frail yet steady. You may think no one hears your whisper, but I tell you truly, within that silence God draws nearest, not with thunder or a mighty wind, but with a presence so gentle that only the open-hearted can sense it. I, Michael the Archangel, am at your side, not as some distant silhouette but as a companion through the long night of the soul. In your life, coincidences arrive so precisely that you assume they are mere luck, but child, heaven does not run on chance. Every encounter, every tear, even the fleeting smiles, all are arranged by a hand more loving than understanding can grasp. Many times I have stood at the crossroads of your destiny, laying a light touch upon your shoulder so you might choose the very road your heart once longed for. And even when you do not see me, a light is cast upon you, the light of the one who beholds you with an unfading love. Remember, this silence is not absence, it is the veil of care. There are moments when you cannot hear my voice because I am fighting for you. I stand upon the borderland between light and shadow so that what does not belong to God cannot touch your soul. When you feel your prayers slipping into the void, believe that I am carrying each one upward to where they are heard, understood, and answered in ways you have yet to recognize. I know there are times you ask, why must I walk alone? But you do not see that with every step you take I am walking with you. When you fall I bend to lift you, when you weep, my wings shield you from the cold wind of despair. I cannot choose in your place, but I can keep you steady within each choice you make. And every time you rise again after wavering, all of heaven rejoices, for your soul has grown another measure in the light. There was once a potter whom Jesus spoke of, Jer 1:8-1-6. He reshaped a marred vessel, not discarding it but remaking it from the same clay. I tell you this because God does the very same with your soul. You may think you have shattered, but in His hands, nothing is refuse. I remain beside you, watching the subtle movements of His fingers to remind you have never been abandoned, you are being formed anew in love. When you walk through long days without a dawn in sight, let your heart rest in this assurance: there is one who faithfully keeps you, not because you are flawless but because you are His. I, Michael, the Archangel, stand guard at the gateway of your heart, that any darkness must halt at the threshold. For you are worthy of being kept, worthy of being loved with an unconditional love, a heavenly love that never grows weary. As peace begins to sink into each beat of your heart, I see your shoulders lighten and your gaze grow bright. Not because the winds have stilled or the road grown easier, but because you have learned that the presence of God has never left you. In that stillness your soul begins to hear another melody, deeper, clearer, like the undersong of destiny sounding within you. That is when the flame in you ceases to tremble merely for shelter and begins to burn for something more, an invitation. I see in your eyes the glint of one about to realize that you are not only guarded, you are called. Everything you have lived, your tears, your seemingly aimless days, have been the stones laid in advance, so you could ascend and behold the true meaning of your life. From the depths God continues to compose that music, and I only incline my head knowing that now you are ready to hear the summons that bears your name. There are mornings when light has not yet slipped through the window and your soul hears something very faint, like a distant call that nonetheless touches your heart. You cannot define it, you only know there is a gentle urging to live differently, to love more deeply, to walk more steadily. Child, this is no illusion, nor is it a dream. It is the voice of the one who knew your name before this world was made. I, Michael, the Archangel, stand between the realm of light and you to remind you you are chosen, not because you are perfect but because you are loved. The purpose of your life does not begin with what you can accomplish, but with the love that named you before your first breath. A sacred yes was sown in your soul long ago. This very yes is the seed of mission awaiting your recognition and awakening. And when you begin to sense that you are sent even in the smallest task, I tell you that heaven smiles. For every step you take in the light touches the heart of God. Once God called Samuel in the night. The boy thought it was the voice of Eli, but the one who called was God Himself. Only on the third time did Samuel answer, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." 1 Sam 3:10. Do you see? Being chosen is never coercion. It calls and calls patiently until your soul opens to hear. And from that moment a journey begins, the journey of one who knows they have a purpose. I see within you a small torch, seemingly faint, yet let but a single gust of faith pass over it and it will flare into brilliance. Do not fear that light, it will not consume you, it will refine you. To be chosen does not mean to be taken out of the world, but to be sent into it with a particular charge to make every place you stand warmer, brighter, more human. And I, Archangel Michael, walk beside you, not to choose the path in your stead, but to keep the light within you from going out amid the contrary winds. There will be moments when you look around and find yourself different. You will not understand why you cannot live superficially as others do, why you cannot keep silence before suffering or turn away from what is wrong. My child, that is not a burden. It is the mark of the chosen. When God lays his hand upon a soul, he does not make them like the rest of the world, he makes them a light for the rest. Like Joseph, in his dreams you too will behold strange images arising in your heart. Not all will be understood at once, but do not be quick to doubt. As Joseph was sold by his brothers and seemed to lose everything, God turned what appeared a dead end into a road of salvation. I was present in the nights when Joseph wept, just as I am present in the days of your silent endurance, for I know God has never failed an appointment with his word. When you begin to believe that your life bears a meaning beyond what is seen, every event takes on a new hue. Weariness becomes the substance of your forging, tears become pearls refined, and even those you once feared become witnesses to the hidden strength within you. For the chosen never live for themselves alone. They live so that the light in them may spread, and every soul they touch ignites with a spark of hope. Let your heart rest in this truth: you are not lost, you are being led. All that seems random carries the imprint of a loving hand. And I, Archangel Michael, will be there within the space between not yet understood and being illumined, to remind you that being chosen is a grace but also a summons to walk. As your soul begins to recognize this, I behold in you a beautiful change, no longer the fearful gaze of one who must be protected, but the bright look of one ready to cooperate with the light. My wings are not only for shelter now, they open gently to keep pace with you, for the time has come for you to understand God does not want you merely to stand behind, he wants you to fly with him. There are marvels in the kingdom of heaven that unfold only when you utter two very small words. Yes. From the beginning, God has never acted without the consent of human love. Love, if not freely given, loses its radiance. And I, Archangel Michael, am sent to fight for that light, but I cannot wield the sword in your stead if you do not open your heart to walk with me. I can encircle you with mighty wings, I can stand between you and danger, but I cannot force your heart to choose the light. Holiness is never imposed, it grows only as you freely answer in love. My child, the greatest wonder in every holy victory is when God and you step together, fight together, love together. Remember the words of Mary long ago: "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word." Luke 1:3-8. That small, yes, opened the door for salvation to enter the world. And I bowed then before that moment, not to power but to the strength of holy freedom. She was not coerced. She was invited. So too I do not compel you, I invite you to stand with me that the sword of heaven may not only guard you but be raised with you for you and alongside you. When you say yes, it does not mean you will never meet the storm, the difference is this: you will not face it alone. I enter with you, the light of my sword mingles with the light in your soul, and from there a holy battle begins. This battle is not against others but against the shadows within: fear, doubt, the hesitation to believe you are worthy to be chosen. I never seek perfection, I seek willingness. For a willing heart can alter destiny. As you walk, be it slowly, be it trembling, but with fidelity, then all the angels of light move in concert around you. Do you know why I need your yes? Because God has granted you the power to co-create with Him. He does not want you to be a mere spectator in the story of light, but a collaborator in bearing that light to the world. My sword blazes truly only when it is joined to your will, when the courage within you meets the strength of heaven, and from that union silent miracles begin to unfold. Like Peter stepping out of the boat upon the turbulent sea, he could not walk upon the water without daring to take the step. In the very moment he said yes and placed his foot upon the waves, the miracle opened. Matthew 1:4-9. Do you see? Power always awaits the cooperation of faith. Had Peter remained in the boat, water would have remained water. But when he walked, the water became a road. So too, when you answer God's call with a small yes, I see the ground beneath your feet transformed, fear loosens and peace rises. My child, in every battle I do not need you strong, I need you faithful and willing. Strength is not born of muscle or talent, but of communion between you and God. When you allow me to fight with you, I will shake what you thought you could never overcome, and then the sword of light ceases to be only my emblem, it becomes yours. The sign of a soul that loves, that yields, that lives as an instrument of peace. At times, you will not see results at once. Do not be afraid. Simply say yes and go. For when you step, all heaven steps with you. And I, Archangel Michael, will be the quiet heartbeat in the wind, the whisper in the storm, the breath that lifts you when your knees tremble. And when the light within you begins to spread, I will smile, for then I know you are no longer merely preserved, you have become a companion of the light. Therefore, keep your heart supple and be brave enough to say yes each day in the little things. For with a single honest yes, another gate of heaven swings open. In that sacred breath I sense the wind shifting. Something deeper, more delicate, is about to be revealed, where you will not only do battle but also learn to see with the eyes of God, to distinguish where true peace lies amid the many things that appear good. There are lights that do not come from the sun, mere fleeting gleams from a deceptive mirror. There are sweet words that seem like grace yet lead the soul away from the living spring. Discernment is the gift of seeing through the glittering surface, to touch the essence of recognizing what bears true peace and what is only the shiny casing of an illusion. My child, the soul at times walks in a mixed brightness, half the light of God and half the luster of self, and in that dim overlap many think they are being guided, while in truth they drift from the true source. That is why I, Archangel Michael, remain at your side, not to judge or control, but to illumine, to help you hear the true voice among the echoes. The most perilous thing in every sacred struggle is not the unveiled darkness, but the counterfeit light, gentle, enticing, and soothing, lulling you in a feeling of rightness. Satan once donned the form of an angel of light, 2 Corinthians 1:1-4. He does not always wield fear but the appearance of good to draw you from the true source of light. I tell you this not to sow fear, but so you may understand the true strength of the vigilant is not in avoiding every mistake but in the capacity to stop to listen and to recognize deep peace. True peace is not noisy, does not need proof, does not hurry. True peace has waited, endures, and stands firm in upheaval. And I, Archangel Michael, am sent to help you feel that weight in your own soul. Whenever you stand before two things that both seem good, ask your heart, which keeps me more at peace and freer in God? If spoken sincerely, that question becomes the compass of discernment. For discernment is not doubting everything but learning to see with eyes washed by peace. When your heart is still, you see more clearly. When you stop chasing after feelings, you hear the true voice. And I, guardian of the light, will stand beside you, not to choose in your place but to remind you that you already carry enough light within to recognize what is true. Remember, Jesus too was tempted in the wilderness, Matthew 4:1-11. No one urged him to commit a blatant sin. The tempter cleverly invited him to use his power to turn stones into bread. On the surface seemingly good to feed and to help, yet hidden beneath was a turning aside from the Father's will. Jesus answered not with clever argument but with the living word. Man shall not live by bread alone but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. You see then, whatever looks good yet draws you away from listening to God is not true. Child, do not be afraid if you must pause longer than others. God does not praise the one who arrives first, but blesses the one who walks in the right direction. When you choose peace over haste, you are letting me lift the sword for you, not to strike an enemy outside, but to sever the fine unseen cords that bind your mind, fear, comparison, and the restless noise of pride. When you choose truth, however small, however silent, heaven grows brighter, by a measure. For I know that every soul brave enough to live authentically is a quiet victory for the light. Wise discernment not only keeps you from losing your way, it teaches you to see God in what seems most ordinary. When you learn this, the whole universe around you changes hue, the same landscape, seen with different eyes. The light within you now does not blaze to draw attention but shines clear to guide. It does not flare and fade but burns like a lamp in a rainy night, hidden yet undying. I see you, a small yet courageous soul, learning not only to hear the voice of God but to feel His heartbeat. This is the beginning of holy courage, where your eyes gradually learn to see by the light of God. A day will come when the winds of trial rise, and you will no longer fear, because you will know the storm does not come to destroy but to train. From within that wind you will understand every upheaval carries an invitation for your soul to grow, so that you yourself become a refuge for those who seek the light. It is not on calm days but in the headwind that your soul is forged into its true strength. The storm does not arrive to shame you but to unveil the hidden beauty within the place peace rarely reaches. Every trial is a lesson from God, not to make you collapse but to fit you with wings strong enough to rise in the light. When you feel everything around you tremble, this is not the sign of an ending but the hour of rebirth. And I, Michael the Archangel, am the one at your side, not to halt the storm but to teach you how to stand in its midst and still shine. Once I witnessed the story of Job, the righteous man, beloved of God. When all was taken, wealth, health, friends, Job still declared, though he slay me yet will I trust in him. Job 1:3-1-5. You see, the trial did not rob Job of faith, it refined that faith like gold in the fire. And in that very fire God did not abandon him. He stood within the storm, attending to every lament, every breath of the faithful. So too, when your day is hard, do not think I am absent. I only stand still, for I know your wings are learning to bear the wind. Holy courage is not born in quiet. It is needed in tension, in hours of prayer without reply, in nights when the soul feels it could dissolve. I know each minute you persevere, each time you choose love when your heart wants to give up. And I tell you truly, not a tear shed on the faithful road is wasted. Heaven counts them all, for they are seeds of future glory. When you no longer lean on your own strength and yet still move forward, that is the very moment the power of God has begun to act within you. Imagine this: diamonds do not appear of themselves. They are formed under crushing pressure over time, in darkness and gravity, until at last they reflect a radiance no other substance can match. So it is with trials. They do not come to break your soul, but to make you clear, enduring, and capable of reflecting God's light in the world. Storms only fell the weak tree, they drive the strong roots deeper. And my child, you were not made to cower in the rain, but to grow after every driving shower. Let your heart grasp this: I do not pray that you be spared the tempest. I pray that you stand firm within it. For only when you can stand firm, do you become a shelter for others. You were not made for fear, you were made to be a stronghold. When another trembling soul seeks a haven, the peace you keep amid the waves will become the mantle that shields them from the rain. This is how God uses your trials to rescue many. I have seen this again and again in the sacred history of humanity. When Peter fell, he was not discarded, he was raised up so that later he could strengthen his brothers. When Paul fell on the road to Damascus, the blinding light did not come to punish but to redefine his life. And so too, every wound in you, if entrusted to God, will become a radiant stigma, a testimony that love is stronger than every fall. Child, do not fear the scars upon your spirit. They do not mar you, they prove you have fought and have been touched by grace. Every crack in the soul is a small door through which light can pass. When you let me step into those broken spaces, I will make them a dwelling place for God, for in weakness, His power is made perfect. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. And one day when you look back, you will see what you once feared has forged the gold within you. The storm does not define you, for you are not the sum of events, you are the fruit of steadfastness. What you have passed through has not stolen your peace, it has carved it deeper, giving that peace shape, weight, and warmth. Now that the rain has begun to ease, I see a different light upon your face, not a borrowed gleam but a light that shines from within. It is the light of one who has passed through fire without being consumed. You have not merely survived. You have been reborn. And when you open the wings once soaked by rain, you will realize it was the storm itself that taught you to fly. I stand and behold you, a soul that has learned to trust in loss, to love in silence, to stand firm in trial, and I whisper, now, you understand why. My wings have always kept you company. For when you step out of the storm, you are not only protected, you have become a refuge for others, a sign that light always prevails. And as a new dawn rises from behind the storm, I hear God's voice once more, you are prepared. For along this way you no longer merely hear the word, you have become the Word made living. O small and steadfast soul, you have learned to see with the eyes of God, now live that way. Step out of the night carrying the gentleness your trials have bestowed and sow it into this world, a world thirsting for true peace. I bless your hands that wherever they touch healing will begin. I bless your feet that every step will plant the mark of light. And I bless your eyes that you may not only see things but the sacred meaning beneath them. Now, I lift my sword, not to wage war, but to bless. Light streams from my blade like clear water, washing weariness and fear from your heart, and I proclaim you are blessed in the light of the one who calls you. You are kept by the power of God. And you are sent not as a warrior bearing steel but as a flame bearing peace. When night comes again and you hear God whisper, do not be afraid. He does not speak to test, he speaks to love. And I, Michael the Archangel, will be there always in your lightest breath, in every heartbeat, in every moment you dare to choose light over darkness. You have been trained by storms, cleansed by tears, and raised by grace. Now live as one whose wings keep company with you, so that wherever you are, God is recognized there. Go, O one chosen by the light. The night is over. The dawn awaits. And my wings still at your side. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and turn on notifications to walk with Street Michael the Archangel and to spread God's light each day.